What if gravity, electricity, magnetism, and all the forces you learned in school don't exist as pulling hands at all? And everything you feel is just the shape of an underlying energy sea quietly rewriting your path? In the energy filament theory, there is no separate force system sitting on top of the universe. There is only a sea that can be tighter or looser, straighter or twisted, smooth or grooved. And every push or pull you experience is just you following that local terrain. Picture yourself standing on a gigantic drum skin. If one side of the skin is pulled tighter, you will naturally slide that way, not because a rope grabs you, but because the surface slopes towards the tighter region. That is gravity in this language. Wherever the energy sea has higher tension, it forms a downhill towards that place. Apples, planets, and light rays are simply sliding along that slope from looser to tighter. And what you call being pulled is just going with the gradient. The same idea explains electric forces if you zoom in. An electron is modeled as a tiny energy ring running laps in the sea, and its motion continually stretches the sea around it into straight, outward-pointing lines of tension. Those lines are what you call the electric field. Put two charged objects together and you are really comparing two sets of lines. If their patterns line up head-on, the sea has to twist uncomfortably to fit both, so the objects are shoved apart. If one pattern fits neatly into the other, like two sets of teeth that mesh, the sea can relax by bringing them closer together. We described that as like charges repelling and opposite charges attracting. But underneath it is just how easily the tension lines can align. Magnetism is the same texture seen in motion. When a charged ring moves through the sea, its straight electric lines do not vanish. They got dragged sideways and curled into spirals. Just like your hand sweeping through water turns straight ripples into swirling eddies behind it. That spiral region is the magnetic field. A passing particle is not yanked by an invisible magnetic hand. It is like a leaf drifting into a rotating current. Its path bends because the water is already swirling. On the tiniest scales, what we call the strong and weak nuclear forces can be seen as tight slots and failing slots in the sea. At very short distances, the energy filaments can pull the sea into extremely narrow, very deep grooves. If two building blocks fall into the same groove, they locked together as firmly as two sticks wedged into the same crack. And that locked state is what we labeled a strong interaction. When a groove can no longer keep its direction, when the tension pattern softens and the alignment collapses, the bounding structure falls apart and its pieces fly off along new paths. That sudden reshaping of the groove is what shows up as a weak interaction decay. In all these cases, nothing new is added on top. There is only slope, line pattern, swirl, and slot in the same medium. You can compress the whole picture into one mental map. Gravity is the slope of the sea. Electric effects are the straight textures etched into it. Magnetic effects are those textures twisted into spirals by motion. Strong and weak effects are the locking and unlocking of very tight grooves. When you think I am being pulled, what is really happening is the sea's shape is guiding me into an easier path. When you think these charges push each other away, what you are seeing is their local textures clash and the sea prefers to separate them. When you think a magnetic force turned me, the reality is I wandered into a swirl and followed the spin. There is no separate menu of mysterious forces living outside you. There is only this energy sea continuously reshaping itself, and you, as part of it, sliding, locking, and turning according to its local form. Tap follow, share it on New Physics, Clear Universe.